President, good to see you this afternoon. I rise in support of the nomination of Kristine Svinicki to hold a third term as a member of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission known as the NRC. Many senators heard from our chairman on the Environment and Public Works Committee in support of this nominee last week, just prior to our cloture vote. I want to add my voice in support of her nomination as well. Since joining the Environment and Public Works Committee, I have worked closely with my colleagues to strengthen what we call the culture of safety within the U.S. Nuclear energy industry. And in part due to our collective efforts and the NRC leadership and the Commission's dedicated staff, the NRC continues to be the world's gold standard for nuclear regulatory agencies. However, as I say time and time again, that does not mean we can become complacent when it comes to nuclear safety and our NRC oversight responsibilities, a perspective that I'm certain is shared by every member of this body. Ensuring that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission continues to have experienced and dedicated leadership is one of the most important things that our committee, the Committee on Environment and Public Works, and the U.S. Senate can do to maintain a high level of safety and excellence in our nation's nuclear facilities. Quite impressed with our NRC commissioners, and I'm encouraged by their ability to work cooperatively with each other. Each commissioner, including our current chair, that's Kristine Svinicki. Let me say her name again, Svinicki. People have a hard time saying her name, it's Svinicki. But she brings a unique set of skills to the table, something that has served the commission and our country as well. Continue to have ongoing discussions with our friend, our chairman of the committee, John Barrasso, about the strong interest that I and our minority members of our committee have with ensuring parity as the Senate looks to confirm other nominees to the NRC. This is in order to ensure that we have a balance of Democrats and Republican members on the commission for years to come. It continues to be a priority for me and our Democratic colleagues. At this time, I support moving Chairman Svinicki through the confirmation process. I do so out of respect for her long service to the NRC and for the need to ensure certainty and predictability within the NRC and its leadership. I hope my colleagues will join me in supporting her nomination, Mr. President. And Mr. President, I think this particular nominee, not everybody on our committee or probably in the Senate will support the nomination of Kristine Svinicki. They could have held her up. No one has. And she's moved through our committee expeditiously. She, in my view, should have moved through expeditiously and will be coming before us for our up or down vote here in a few minutes. I just want to suggest as we approach our business of later this week with respect to health care legislation, there may be the kind of way we've handled this nomination might be a little bit of a model for the way that we can actually work together. We need to. People in this country say to me all the time, people in my state say to me all the time, just work together, get something done. And I know the presiding officer and the gentleman from the senator from West Virginia who's just entered the chamber, you guys want to work that way too. And so do I. Now, what I think we ought to be doing on health care, and I would just lay this before the body, is look at the ACA. Study it up and down. God knows we had enough hearings, roundtables, opportunities to debate it, vote for it, amend it, over 80, I think over 300, maybe over 400 amendments, all told, in 80-some days of working on it in 2009. And my hope is that we can, rather than have legislation that just Democrats or just Republicans vote to put on the table and to try to push through here on Thursday, my hope is that we'll hit the pause button. My hope is we'll hit the pause button. And we'll focus Democrats and Republicans on trying to figure out what in the Affordable Care Act needs to be fixed, fix it. To figure out what needs to be maintained, preserved, and preserve it. That's what I think we should do. And lo and behold, if we were to do those things, I think we'd end up with a better health care system for our better health care coverage, and maybe actually make true the word of the presidential nominee, Donald Trump, who said he favored health care legislation that was actually cover everybody, get better results for less money. And that's not a bad goal for us to shoot for. And what I've laid out here just very briefly, figure out what needs to be fixed in the Affordable Care Act, fix it. Figure out what needs to be preserved, preserve it. And do it not just as Democrats or Republicans, but do it together. And I think if we do that, we would, in the words of Mark Twain, we would confound our enemies and amaze our friends. And with that, Mr. President, I would note the absence of a quorum. Thanks so much.